News now from a time capsule. We step back to the 1960s. John F. Kennedy is president, and tonight we learned that he had secretly installed microphones in the Oval Office, controlled only by him, recording over 200 hours behind closed doors, from national crises to tender family moments, including ones with his daughter Caroline, who talked with ABC's Diane Sawyer about the father she holds dear.
You are there, inside a presidential life. 265 hours of secret audio tapes. And listening to them all these years later, a little girl, all grown up, who remembers the serious voices around her as she made paperclip necklaces in her favorite playhouse.
I remember really clearly being under the desk and trying to get candy from the grown-ups who were around. But and you know, obviously our dream was to be allowed into the office to see him, and so I used to go after school or walk him over before school.
Caroline Kennedy says it's wonderful today to hear him laughing when she walks in demanding attention.
I'll see you later.
That sound is little John pounding under the desk, no idea he's hitting a microphone. And her father is relaxed.
Seeing him at work and seeing him in the present in a way, it was really like being in his company while you're listening, and so I think that was really a wonderful feeling for me.
And what you hear on the tape is a man impossibly calm in crisis. Intelligence has discovered the Soviets placed nuclear missiles inside Cuba aimed at the U.S.
Which leaves me only one alternative, which is to fire nuclear weapons, which is a hell of an alternative. Well, you're on a pretty bad fix, President. What do you say? You're on a pretty bad fix. You're in with it.
But however calm and steady in the Cuban Missile Crisis, he could unleash irritation on small things. Here, a Defense Department official spent a lot of money on furniture for a pregnant Mrs. Kennedy if she went into labor, and he's furious.
I want to find out if we pay for that furniture.
All right, sir.
Then I want that fella's incompetent who had his picture taken next to Mrs. Kennedy's bed, if that's what it is. I mean, he's a silly bastard. I wouldn't have him running a cat house.
At another point, he notices the U.S. hockey team got shellacked by the Swedes.
Christ, who are we sending over there? Girls? We shouldn't send a team unless we can send a good one. Will you find out about it? Let me know.
I'll find out about it, let me know.
But nowhere are the tapes more moving and revealing than as the secret witness to the struggle for civil rights, the great moral issue tearing the country apart.
Birmingham's the worst city in the South, and they have done nothing for the Negroes.
And after a young man named James Meredith creates a crisis by enrolling in the all-white University of Mississippi.
James Meredith was inspired by my father's inaugural address and decided then that he wanted to enter the University of Mississippi. And so then this whole drama unfolded.
This is the president taking on the staunch segregationist, the governor of Mississippi, Ross Barnett, who wanted to eject Meredith into an angry mob.
President, please, why don't you, can't you give an order to try to remove Meredith?
How can I remove him, Governor, when there's a riot in the street and he may step out of that building and something happen to him? I can't remove him under those conditions.
Barnett is pushing for him to cave.
It's really an incredibly tense standoff between the two of them.
Kennedy sent in the U.S. Marshals and the National Guard to restore order, and James Meredith became the first black graduate of Ole Miss. But in the months ahead across the South, the flames, the dogs, the riots, and all the troubles closing in, threatening his second term. It is his last November. The president sounds exhausted.
Politically, the news is somewhat disturbing, looking towards 64.
A little boy climbs into his lap.
Hello. Naughty, naughty.
Why do the leaves fall? Where do we go to Cape Transport? It's summer.
Then days before he's assassinated,
Tuesday, November 12th.
the last words on the last tape are about the hard battle ahead.
So that our lot becomes more difficult.
Our lot becomes more difficult, and that's it. Last words.
I love that. I think that's really, I thought it was really moving. And obviously, knowing what happened, he understood how difficult all of this really was.
John Kennedy had once told his friends, life is a struggle. And to be president is getting to struggle in a tremendous sort of arena. That's what the presidency is.
Right. But that's great. And you're hopefully making things better. So I think that that's really probably the most kind of rewarding life you could have. And so I think he did that.
Listening in, the secret White House recordings of John F. Kennedy is in bookstores tomorrow. Caroline Kennedy will talk to George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America in the morning. Our thanks to Diane.